afternoon to everyone. Myself is Sashikanth. I am from Poly. So today we'll be seeing about contributions of Poly towards global digitalization. Poly is a global communication company that powers meaningful human communication and collaboration. Poly was formed because of the two large technology giants, Plantronics and Polycom, coming together. Plantronics was founded in the year 1961 and Polycom was founded in the year 1990. In 2019, both these companies came together and renamed themselves as Poly. Poly has close to 7,500 employees, 1,450 patents. Poly also has 30 plus cloud ecosystem partner systems and is growing strong day by day. We all have been using cloud because of the COVID. We all work from home and we still stay connected for our office. How do we do that? Primarily, we use one of these cloud services. Poly has strategically aligned with most of the cloud services. To name a few, say Microsoft, Zoom, BlueJeans, LogMeIn, WebEx, and RingCentral. So these are the cloud service partners whom Poly is aligned with. So what is the need for Poly to align with these? When we work from home, an employee has to feel the exact same experience which they used to get when they work from office. It could be a communication tool that they are using, but the gadgets really make it effective. So Poly has different devices for different work styles. Primarily, if a user is at desk, a user is always sticking around desk taking calls, we can always provide them a wired headset. The headset will give them a HD quality, completely removing all the noise which is coming around him. So a user would always feel at ease to use a headset rather than the normal mics and speakers attached to the PCs and laptops. A desk phone is pretty good because you can make always the employee stay connected to his work life and also with his peers. If an employee is on a go, which means he's going to travel around, then we can always recommend Bluetooth headset, which could be carried as and when a user is moving around, or a speakerphone, which is pretty good when they take calls from laptop. You can just plug it in. It uses as a mic and a speakerphone. For work from home, if it's going to be a simple setup, then we can always give a corded headset with a full HD 1080p camera. If it's going to be a versatile home office where a user would like to move on as when he speaks, we can always recommend a wireless headset, a speakerphone, and the 1080p camera, which is a full HD camera. If it's going to be an executive home office, we can always recommend a USB video bar, which has a 4K camera, microphones and speaker embedded in it. So all the executive has to do is to just connect to the laptop and they're on the call. If a user wants to have a video conferencing all throughout the day, then yes, there are Bluetooth headsets and speakerphones which could do the needful for their audio demands. And the camera is intelligent enough to track them as and when they speak and they move around. If it's an open office, the open office is not going to be the same as what we had last year. Because of COVID, we all maintain social distancing, right? So open offices will be even more spacious, has to be even more spacious. So there is going to be a minimum distance that is going to be maintained from a user to another one. So we can always give them a wireless headset with a dongle so they can use it along with their laptops. And if it's a desk phone, since they already have a headset, they can also pair this with the desk phone and use it as a mic and a speaker. Call center agents. Yes, call center agents are the ones who use these headsets or use the tools primarily for more than 8 hours a day. So they have to be enabled with these equipments, the gadgets which enriches their work experience. So they would be provided with a light-weighted headsets which could be worn for more than 8 hours a day with a proper full HD camera, which could give them the best experience during their communication. Of course, when we go back to offices, huddle space are the ones which are boomingly increasing in these days. So huddle space, we can always recommend a collaboration bar. Poly collaboration bar primarily has a client in it. This is an app-based device. It's comprises of microphone, camera, and speaker, and the codec, all in a single video bar. So this collaboration bar is primarily an app-based bar. It has multiple applications like Poly, Zoom, Teams, 8x8, RingCentral, Starleaf, and so on. It can also do a H.323 calling. So it's as good as any other endpoint. And on top of it, it supports all of these native cloud platforms. For a CXO people who wants to have an immersive experience, yes, we have an entire range of immersive product. For traditional conference room, we still have the traditional boardroom conference room devices with all its accessories, which can cater to different types of rooms and different requirements. Poly has been there for almost 7 decades now, put together. So, which means Poly has been doing something different, and they've been hearing the customer requirements. So, primarily, what Poly does is video and audio. When it comes to audio, what they do, these are some of the cool features that they do. First one is noise block A. Noise block A primarily blocks out the unwanted noises and distractions and make your communication more effective. Acoustic fence, it captures only the voice which comes from a defined zone, which means in an open office where you can have a cafeteria or a reception enabled with communication devices. If you can have a particular defined zone, a person who is well within the zone alone could be heard and not the foreign disturbances. These are features not only available in one set of product, which is available in each and every segment of Poly product. It could be a headset, it could be a desk phone or a video conferencing device. The beamforming microphone array would help to clearly pick up the voice in the room. Poly has a very legendary audio, which is a 22 kilohertz audio, which gives a crystal clear, crisp sound image. Video experiences. Oh yeah, because of COVID, as I said earlier, we would be maintaining social distances even in our conference rooms. So speaker tracker is going to be no more a luxury product, but it's going to be the need of the hour. Because when a person speaks, the camera should be sensible enough to track them down, put them right in the center of the screen. There are multiple levels of speaker tracking that's available in Poly. The primary one is called the normal speaker tracking, where when a person speaks, the camera detects him, zooms towards him, puts him right in the front or right in a full screen image for the far end. Then when the person next to him speaks, it smoothly transitions towards him, smoothly moves as if there is a videographer behind him who moves the camera or pan towards him. When these two people get into an argument, then it's called as a conversation mode. What all the camera does is it just clips both the video, stitches them, and send them live to the far end. Wow, that's cool. Now we can also be part of the conversation being on a remote office, right? When none of them speaks, the camera is sensible enough to understand, and it will just focus on the participants or the place where the active participant sits, leaving out the empty spaces in the room. So these are cool video and audio features, right? So these are available even in our USB devices, so that it could give a very productive meeting. Now, getting on to alliances, yes, we have earlier seen all of the alliances that we had. Now, I will be talking about primarily two of the largest alliances that we have and which is predominantly used in India. The first one, okay, this is something very important. What we do today, we were not geared up to be completely behind cloud platforms and tools. This was not something which was planned. COVID just made us to get this adopted as quickly as possible. So even today, as I'm speaking, every organization has multiple cloud platforms, could be Zoom, Teams, WebEx, and so on. So there are devices which could natively work behind them. There are devices which cannot work. So the devices which cannot work gets into a gateway mode through the gateway trying to connect, or customers trying to replace the devices today or have specific devices to work behind specific cloud platforms. It could be video, audio, or headsets. But that's not going to be forever. Going ahead, the future is very clear. Customers want to have natively interoperable devices so that they get the best experience. And it's not only with one platform, it could be with multiple platforms. They would like to have the natively interoperable device so that they get the best experience for their users. Now, talking about Zoom, there are multiple segments of products that Poly does. First one is personal devices, could be a speakerphone, headset, or a desk phone. Say, let us take an example of a desk phone. If a user is being put with a desk phone, even could be at his house, all he needs to do is just sign in into the Zoom account and he can stay connected. As simple as that. So if it's going to be a group device, as the name denotes, it's for group calling, could be in a conference room, huddle room. A user can always walk into the room, just touch the Zoom invite and they could be joining the Zoom call. USB camera, it's a video bar, which we have already have seen earlier. They can just plug it behind any laptop or a PC and use it for Zoom calls. We also have the codec based systems, the ones that you see on the right extreme, which can natively register behind Zoom, and it's always good to go with a Zoom call. For devices which does not do a native, could be a poly or a non-poly device, we provide video interop licenses. All of these devices could be managed using our management portal, and we also provide services, the onboarding services for organizations which are trying to have Zoom as an adoption. This is a very interesting slide about Microsoft Teams. Microsoft has so many segments of hardware requirements for each of its users. If you see, the entire list of Microsoft partners have been listed here. Poly is the only vendor to be selected among all of the categories, which means if you're going ahead with Poly, or if you're going to choose Poly as your choice of vendor, then you are going to have an equal experience throughout your length and breadth of rooms. Coming to the Poly Teams slide, if you see, as how we saw during Zoom, most of the devices would be repeating. So what is that the customer gets a value because of this? The devices that you use it for Zoom could also be used for Teams. Some of them might not be everything, which means your investment is protected. Tomorrow, when you change a platform from a A to a B to a C, you can still have the same devices natively registering behind all of them. Wow, that's great, right? We are moving towards the future. Yeah. So coming to personal devices, it could be a speakerphone, could be a headset, could be a desk phone. All of them are natively registered or being certified by Microsoft Teams. If it's going to be a group devices, a conference phone, a camera, USB camera, or could be a room-based systems, yes, we are the entire set of products that's required for a room-based devices. Getting to video interop licenses for devices which does not do native, Poly provides the gateway services which will make any HTTP endpoint dial into a Teams call. And we can manage all of these devices using our management portal. We also provide the Real Connect services, which is primarily the implementation services, which will help any of the organization to adopt to Microsoft Teams as a service. So that's it from my end. Thank you so much for hearing me. Please write to us in case of any questions.